Yalai la lai 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 lai, yalai la lai lai lai, yalai la lai 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 lai, yalai la lai 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 lai, yalai la lai 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 lai, yalai la lai lai lai, yalai la lai 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 lai, yalai la lai 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 lai, ya lai la lai 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 lai, ya lai la lai lai lai. Easiest words of the day. Ya lai la lai 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 lai. Sing along. Ya lai la lai 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 lai. Ya lai la. We get to the people in the cheap seats. Ya lai la lai lai lai. How we doing back here? Ya lai lai lai. Ya lai la lai 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 lai. Ya lai la lai 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 lai. Ya lai la lai lai lai. Ya lai la lai 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 lai. Ya lai la lai lai lai.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Filled with joy and blessing to be able to share the Shabbat with our family who's come from near and far, with our friends from school and our communities, from our Temple Bethel family who's been such an integral and important part of our lives for these last 12 years. And to come to this day to celebrate Shabbat together is really a fulfillment of so many of our dreams. But in reality, throughout the Jewish world, this is exactly what Jews are doing in their synagogues. In our synagogues, we're coming together to celebrate Shabbat together, to chant from the Torah together, to share words of learning together. It just so happens that here in San Pedro, California is the best Shabbat service happening in the world today. And Ezra, we are just so very proud of you. Your mom and I, your grandparents, your family are all so proud of you that you are here today. And this is, I'm going to be like getting off the bima in a minute because one of the things that Ezra said to me, he said, are you going to be rabbi? Or are you going to be dad today? So I'm going to be a little bit of both depending on what you want me to do. So I'm very, very grateful to my dear friend and colleague, Rabbi Zach Shapiro from Temple Akiba in Culver City, who will be leading a lot of the service today so I can sit with Karen and Avi and just really kvel just from the front row here. For those who have not been to our synagogue before, who are not familiar with the Jewish worship service, we use a prayer book called Mishkan Tefillah. It's that blue book or the paper copy, the photocopy in the back. I think that we kind of spread them around because of the people here, the numbers of people here today. Either Ezra or Rabbi Shapiro will tell you exactly where we are. Any prayers that you know in English or Hebrew, please join with us. But really, please do be full participants in our service. So at this point, I want to turn it over to Rabbi Shapiro, and I'm going to go and enjoy. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Briskin. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
What an honor it is to be here, and Rabbi and Karen, Cantor, Mark, Ezra. I'm very humbled to be here this morning, and it's an honor for me to help engage in the service. The beauty about coming to another congregation is I get to do whatever I want and mess things up, and then skip town. But I'm not all that far away, so I can't get too far away. I want to extend a mazel tov from all of us at Temple Akiba in Culver City, as well as from my husband, Rabbi, who's the Los Angeles City Controller, Ron Galperin. Ron sends his regrets that he couldn't be here, but he sends his mazel tov to you, Ezra, and his love to the entire community. He's not a stranger here. He and I have both been here many, many times. The truth is, I'm not doing much leading the service either. Ezra will be leading much of what we're doing this morning. And I do what rabbis do best. I tell you what page to turn to every once in a while. We open with the singing of Ma Tovu. We're on page 192, page 192.
Ma Tovu Alecha Yaakov, O Alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu, O Alecha Yaakov, משתחווה אליך לקודשך ביראתך. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל.
We continue on page 195. At the top of the page, we read together, 195. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware, we would lack the strength to stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofer chol basar, mafli la'asot. 196.
Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata li tehorai. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata li tehorai. Ata verata, ata yetzarta, ata nefachta bi. ואתה משמרה בקרבי. אלוהי, אלוהי, נשמה, שנתת בי
We continue on page 198 with the blessings for daily miracles. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam,
who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who made me in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Page 206. Let's read together in the middle of the page in the English. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging of deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Page 215. Praise God in so many different ways, with our heart, with our soul, with instruments, and with passion. The 150th Psalm is on page 218.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Olam Shabbat, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Olam Shabbat, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. נשמת כל חי תברך את שמך אדוני אלוהינו.
We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 224, page 224.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמד יברח חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכם וביומכם, ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן זמן קריב במהרו אמן. יהי שמרה מבורך לעולם עולם מעל מיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח וידבר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירת בעלמך במהרו אמן. יאי לה 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 יאי לה 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 יאי לה 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 La 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 Yay la 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMvorach Leolam Vaed.
We continue with the prayer for creation on page 228. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Oser or uvarei choshech Oseh shalom uvarei et hakol Hama'ir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha berachamim Uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid Maaseh Bereshit Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai Kulam b'chokhma asita Mal'a ha'aretz kinyanecha Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu Al shevach ma'aseh yadecha Ve'al me'orei or she'asita Yefa'arucha Selah Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir V'nizkeh chulanu mehera le'oro Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer ha'me'orot. We continue in the middle of page 231. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light blinded we saw. The inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us. As we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, Acher B'Amo Yisrael, Be'ahava.
On the previous page. Ve'ha'ereneinu b'toratecha Ve'na'amek libeinu b'mitzvotecha Ve'yached levaveinu le'ahava u'lira et shemecha Ve'lo nevosh ve'lo nigalem Ve'lo nigashem לעולם ועד כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא פתחנו נגילה ונשמחה בשועתך ואבינו לשלום על כנפות הארץ ותוליכנו כמויות ארצנו כי אל פועל ישועות אתה ובנו ואכלת וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול סלע באמת להודות לך וליחדך באהבה ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
You may be seated. We continue on page 234. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך. אנוכי מצווך על יהוה לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם ששבתך בביתך ומלאכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך ושכבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם בכל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem Emet. We continue in the middle of page 239. The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else.
And the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or sister truly in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
Ya bye bye bim bim bye, ya bye bye bim bam, ya bye bye bim bim bye, ya bye bye bim bam. Ay ay la 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 la, ya bye bye bim bam. Ay ay la 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 la, ya bye bye bim bam. Mi chamocha na'iman donai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, dorati lo dosen. Bye bye bim bam, ya bye bada bim bim bye, ya bye bye bim bam. Ay ay da 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 da, ya bye bye bim bam. Ay ay da 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 da, ya bye bye bim bam. שירה חדשה שבחו גאולים, לשמחה על שפת הים, יחד כולם עוד וימלכו, ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, אומה בעזרת ישראל, ובדקנו בך יהודה וישראל. עלינו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל.
We join in Tefillah on page 242.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני
You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the doorframe, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions, waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, Eternal Teacher, encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvah, so shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו, אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני נצחים, קדושתך, קדושתך נקדיש. ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך, קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גול לך. לדור ודור נגיד גול לך. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated, everyone. For over a decade now, Rabbi Briskin and I have met over the summer to discuss High Holy Day themes in our services. And one of the themes that he taught me, which we both wrote together about, was the theme of using our words wisely and using our words silently sometimes. And perhaps the holiest of words we can share are the words that begin when we're silent in our souls. So we ask now that you take a few moments for your own silent reflection. Dig deeply and listen to what your heart is saying. We pray silently.
רצונים רפים, יהיו רצונים רפים, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru.
Whoa. A lot of people here. Don't get that in the front row. Shabbat Shalom. One of the best parts of my work as a rabbi is spending time with my B'nai Mitzvah students as we explore an ancient text and make it come alive. Now that said, working with this particular student was a very different experience for me. Because Ezra and I spend more time together than I do with my other students, his questions and our discussions about him becoming bar mitzvah, about the verses of Torah he will chant in a few moments, and about why we do things in a certain way, it all became a running commentary, even this morning as we drove over from our home. I don't believe a day has gone by in the last several months when some question about becoming bar mitzvah, Judaism, or Jewish life didn't come up. Suffice it to say, we've had many great discussions in recent months. Now, we have a custom here at Temple Bethel where I invite each of my students to ask me a question about any facet of Jewish life: ritual, history, heritage, practice theology, any question that they want me to begin answering today. Now, those who know Ezra well know that he has a lot to say, all the time. And sometimes it's not just about sports. He is filled with questions and has his opinions. However, he eventually came up with his burning question that, Ezra, I don't think I've been asked before. Ezra wants to know, why do some Jews still believe in the coming of the Messiah while other Jews don't? Now, Ezra, I don't get very many questions about messianism in the Jewish community, but I'll give it a shot to try to answer. Now, first of all, Ezra, the idea of the coming of the Messiah is a central theological tenet of traditional Judaism. The rabbis of the Talmud teach that the Jewish Messiah, which is different from the Christian Messiah, will gather Jews from all four corners of the earth, return them to full observance of Torah, and will then bring peace to the entire world. However, every single Jew in the world would have to believe that a certain one person is the Messiah. And so, Ezra, can you imagine the entire Jewish community agreeing on one single thing? When the great medieval sage Maimonides wrote his 13 Principles of Faith, he included this one among them. Ani ma'amin, he said, I believe fully in the coming of the Messiah, and even though he may tarry, I will wait for him on any day that he may come. Maimonides, the most rational thinker of his time, believed in the coming of a personal Messiah. Even though many, if not most, Jews don't affirm that statement in the literal way that Maimonides intended, they still say it when they sing Yigdal at the end of Shabbat morning services in their synagogues. Some of you may know this. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach. You sing that through the end, you get to Ani Ma'amin, that verse about messianism. You see, Ezra, throughout Jewish history, there have been times when Jews believed that the Messiah's coming was close, but each of these times ended in disaster. In the year 135 of the Common Era, the Jews believed that Shimon bar Kokhba was the Messiah who would wrest control of Palestine from the Romans. He led a failed revolt that ended in catastrophe and devastation. There have been false messiahs too. The most famous was a 17th century Turkish Jew named Shabbat Tzvi, who many believed was the Messiah and who would return Palestine to the Jews from the hands of the Sultan in Turkey. Jews believed that until the Sultan gave Shabbat Tzvi an ultimatum: convert to Islam or die. He converted. So much for the coming of that Messiah. That is why today, Ezra, most are skeptical if someone were to announce the coming of the Messiah. Now imagine one day, Ezra, you were minding your own business and some guy came up to you and said, hey there, see that guy over there? That's the Messiah. In fact, the first century Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai once said, should you happen to be holding a sapling in your hand when they tell you that the Messiah has arrived, first plant the sapling, then go out and greet the Messiah. This lesson teaches that the work of cultivation of things in the here and now is more important than greeting someone who may, or more likely, may not be the Messiah. Now, Ezra, while some segments in our diverse Jewish community still pray every day for the coming of the Messiah, and while some truly believe that the Messiah is close at hand, our Reform movement has long rejected the notion of one single person, who would be the Messiah. Rather, we speak of a messianic time in which our individual human efforts collectively can help perfect and repair our imperfect and often broken world. Day by day, we do our work to make our corner of the world just a bit better than it was the day before. It's as if there's a messianic spark in each of us who is willing to do the work. And that was the lesson of the story that I shared last night that my friend Rabbi Shapiro gave to me a few weeks ago. It all comes together. In his 2002 book with the eye-catching title, There Is No Messiah and You're It, Rabbi Robert Levine writes, "We are taught that every one of us is created in the divine image. All of us can be holy through imitating God. So you don't have to look around or look away. You don't have to wait for someone to come and do what you were put on this earth to do in the first place. Judaism empowers you as one of God's anointed ones to do more than you ever dreamed possible." So Ezra, I hope and pray, Ezra, that you will live by this idea and take responsibility to help bring about a time of peace, justice, and wholeness in our world. You've already done a lot in your short life, and I know you have a lot more to do. Doing your part and bringing others along with you to do their part is your lifelong responsibility. I hope you will be guided and motivated by this big Jewish idea. The famous anthropologist Margaret Mead famously said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." When you mixed in the lessons of our faith and tradition to this civic-minded idea, Ezra, then indeed you are doing God's work on earth and helping to bring about the Messianic age. Ezra, I look forward to being with you as you do your part and as we do our work together. Shabbat Shalom. It's yours. That is your name on it. It's yours, Ezra. We're sharing, okay? I normally don't share water with my students, but you're okay. In just a few moments, Ezra will come to the Bima, and he will receive Torah in his arms as it's passed from Karen and me into his arms. And this will mark this transition as he takes Torah for the first time and holds it close to heart. Now, the Torah that Ezra will use is a very special scroll, one that we use only for the ceremony of our 13-year-olds becoming bar bat mitzvah and for confirmation when our kids at the end of their 10th grade confirmation year. This Torah scroll was rescued from the embers of the Holocaust following World War II. For many years, it had been used in a synagogue in the town of České Budějovice in the former Czech Republic. And every week, Jews would take out the Torah scroll and celebrate with it. Now, when Hitler came to power in 1939, he had one primary goal in mind, which was to eradicate Jews from the world, from the face of this earth. And during the years of the Holocaust, when the final solution was really put into place between 1941 and 1945, Hitler and his army would go through Jewish communities. They would destroy synagogues, round up Jews and send them to concentration camps, to death camps, but would oftentimes keep sacred objects. Now, the Jews in České Budějovice knew that bad things were coming along, and before their town was destroyed, as it was like many other towns, they were able to take this Torah scroll and get it to the great synagogue in Prague. And there, that Torah scroll was, along with many others, until after World War II. Now, as we know from our history books, Hitler did achieve part of his goal. He eradicated 6 million Jews in Europe during World War II, and several 100,000 others as well. But he didn't destroy the Jewish people, because here we are today, a couple generations later, filling this sanctuary and filling our community. Now, this Torah scroll after World War II found its way to the Westminster Synagogue in London, where it and about 1,500 other scrolls that were rescued from the Holocaust, they were in a basement for a period of time, until someone had the wonderful idea to take these scrolls and to lend them on permanent loan to synagogues throughout the world. In some synagogues, you'll see a Holocaust scroll that is in a synagogue foyer as part of a Holocaust remembrance display. We're very fortunate that we have a scroll that is in good enough condition that we can actually read from it and chant from it. And that's why we use it for these special occasions, because it's our way of showing that Am Yisrael Chai, that the Jewish people still live, and we thrive, and we continue in this renaissance, very different than what it may have looked like back in České Budějovice or generations before, but one that continues to reform, to grow, and to evolve. And so, Ezra, when you take this Torah in your hand, you will be linked to every bar, bat mitzvah, and confirmand who has stood on this bima to hold this Torah, and all those who prayed from it in České Budějovice, and you'll be linked to when we first received it at Mount Sinai thousands of years ago. So Ezra, as you begin to prepare to take Torah in your hands, Rabbi Shapiro and I will invite you to come and share your bar mitzvah pledge, and then we'll pass Torah to you.
I am about to receive the gift of Torah and share in the sacred responsibility of teaching Torah to others. I'm able to do this because I have studied and because I have made a commitment to the value of learning. In order for me to grow as a Jew and to share with others the blessings I have received, I accept the responsibility to continue with my Jewish education through Bar Mitzvah and beyond. As Bar Mitzvah, I am responsible for the mitzvah of learning, and I will fulfill that mitzvah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitchan b'mitzvotav v'tzivani la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has made us holy with your commandments and commanded us to be occupied with the words of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hablamed Torah la'amcha Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who teaches Torah to your people Israel.
It's now our honor to invite forward Avi and Charlotte Briskin to open the Ark, and we invite Rabbi Chuck and Karen to come forward as well. As we pass down Torah L'Dor Vador, we invite the congregation to please rise.
Page 364.
Seu She'ar Shechem Useu Pitrei Olam Yavo Melech HaKavod Mil Ze Melech HaKavod Adonai Tzvaot U'Melech HaKavod
Ezra, thank you for coming into this world and turning us into parents. You are one of the most special and precious gifts that anyone could ask for. We could not be more proud of you, not just today, but every day. The name Ezra means helper in Hebrew, and that is what we hoped you would become when you came into our lives. The name Ezra comes from the Bible. Ezra lived about 2,500 years ago after the Jews returned to Jerusalem following their exile in Babylonia. Ezra was a great scholar, teacher, and a scribe. When he returned to Jerusalem after the Babylonian exile ended, he was shocked and distressed to see how spiritually lost his people were. Ezra was spurred into action to restore Jewish life in the Holy Land. Like your biblical namesake, you are often spurred into action to make this world a better place. You strive to help those around you with your acts of kindness, generosity, and love. Also, like your biblical namesake, you are very connected to the land and people of Israel. You fell in love with Israel during our temple trip there a year and a half ago, and you brought back many ritual objects to help make this day special. The talit you're wearing, kippot you chose for family members, and the yod you will use today when you chant Torah.
Our dear Ezra, this is what we love about you, and these are our blessings for you. You are loving, thoughtful, and sincere.
May you one day fully appreciate the extraordinary gifts that have been given to you.
You are inquisitive, and you love to learn.
May your enthusiasm for learning continue throughout your life.
You embrace life to the fullest.
May you have the ability to make all your dreams come true.
You are passionate about Judaism and Israel.
May you yearn to more greatly discover and explore your Judaism on your own terms, not just ours.
You are compassionate, sympathetic, and generous.
May your sensitivity to others less fortunate compel you to act on their behalf in the spirit of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world.
You enjoy creating and participating in community.
May your life be filled with people who love and appreciate you for who you are, who honor your values, and who are there for you when you need them.
Ezra, you are our blessing, and you are a blessing to all who know you
and love you.
We love you very much.
כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. גדול אדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה והמנשא לכל לראש. שבס. ישראל, ישראל, ואורייתא אדו, ישראל, ישראל. hallelujah. Torah ora, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah ora, hallelujah. Torah ora, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Ezra, Israel, Leor, Tadu, Israel, Leor, right after Torah, hallelujah. Torah, hallelujah.
Please be seated, everyone.
Hallelujah, Torah, hallelujah. Torah, hallelujah.
How you doing?
It's harder than like the push-up test at school.
Yeah, it is harder.
harder.
It is.
We should just do a long haka.
They just have you do a long hakafah at school. That could like give you an A in PE. It's perfect. Shabbat Shalom. At this time, Ezra is about to chant for us, very beautifully, if I do say so, very beautifully, his Torah portion from Parashat Shmini, the parasha for this week. And as he does so, he's inviting up many members of his family, literally aliyah la Torah, to come up to the Torah and to bless each of the readings. So please listen if your name is called. Yamdu aliyah la Torah. For the first aliyah, Ezra invites up his family from the Goldberg side, his grandparents, Gary and Linda Goldberg, Kim and Darren Leveloff, and Cody, Joshua, and Benjamin Leveloff. Take one down and pass it around. 98 aliyot on the wall. Okay, you come be here. Now it's time to zoom in. Hi guys, you ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayisa Aharon et Yadav El Ha'am Vayeverchem Vayered Me'eso HaChatat V'Ha'olah V'Hashlemim Vayavo Moshe V'Aharon Elohol Moed Vayeitzu Vayeverchu et Ha'am Vayar Kavod Adonai El Kol Ha'am Vatese Eshmi Adonai Vatochal HaMizbeach et ha'olav et ha'chalavim vayar kol ha'am vayar vayiplu al panehem. Aaron lifted lifted his hands toward the people and blessed them, and he stepped down after offering the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the offering of well-being. Moses and Aaron went inside the tent of meeting. When they came out, they blessed the people, and the presence of Adonai appeared to all the people. Fire came forth from before Adonai and consumed the burnt offering and the fat parts on the altar. And all the people saw and shouted and fell on their faces.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'ha'olam natan Eloheinu. Baruch atah Adonai, notei HaTorah.
Amen. Kiss the kid. And then you can come to this side. For the second Aliyah, we invite up the Briskin side of the family. Ezra's very proud grandparents, Jerry and Phyllis Briskin, his aunts and uncles, David Briskin and Julia Blackburn, Jeff and Esther Briskin, and his cousins, Ben and Eli Briskin. Yamdu Aliyah Torah. And here we have the only kid. God, yeah, right there, the only kid.
Baruch hu es Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'nasanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaiku v'nei Aharon, Nadav v'Avihu, Esh machtakto. Vayitnu, v'hain Esh, v'yasimu aleha ketoret, v'yakrivu lifnei Adonai, Esh hara asher lo tzifa otam. V'tzeitze Esh mifnei Adonai, v'tochal otam, v'yamutu lifnei Adonai. V'yomer Moshe el Aharon, Asher diber Adonai lemor, bikrovai ekadesh v'al penei kol ha'am ekaved, v'yidom Aharon. Now Aaron's sons, Nadav and Avihu, each took his fire pan, put fire in it, and laid incense on it. And they offered before Adonai alien fire, which God had not enjoined upon them. And fire came forth from Adonai and consumed them. Thus they died at the instance of Adonai. Then Moses said to Aaron, This is what Adonai meant when God said, Through those near me I show myself holy, and gain glory before all the people. And Aaron was silent.
Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emes, v'chayei olam notah b'sochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Come on to this side. Stand right there. And for the third Aliyah, we invite Ezra's adequately proud parents, incredibly proud parents, Rabbi Chuck and Karen Briskin. Yamdu Harav Yechiel ben Shmuel v'Fegel, or Miriam bat Gershom v'Leah, Aliyah LaTorah. It starts with Baruch Hu.
This the transliteration? Gold mark.
It's not pronounced cha.
Baruch hu
Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayikra Moshe al Mishael ve'el Tzafan b'nei Uziel dod Aharon v'yomer alehem Kirvu se'u achechem me'etz b'nei HaKodesh al milchus l'machaneh v'yakrivu v'yasi'um b'chutanotam al milchus l'machaneh ka'asher diber Moshe v'yomer Moshe el Aharon l'Elazar Litamar banav rashechem al tifra'u uvigdechem lo tifromu v'lo tamutu v'al kol ha'eda yiksof v'chechem kol be'Yisrael yifko et hasrefa asher sharaf Adonai mipetach ohel mo'ed lo tetsu pentamutu kishem and mishcha Adonai alechem v'ya'asu kivar Moshe. Oh yeah. Moses called Mishael and Elzaphan, sons of Uziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, "Come forward and carry your kinsmen away from the front of the sanctuary to a place outside the camp." They came forward and carried them outside the camp by their tunics, as Moses had ordered. And Moses said to Aaron and to his sons Eleazar and Itamar, "Do not bare your heads and do not rend your clothes, lest you die and anger strike the whole community. But your kinsmen, all the house of Israel, shall bewail the burning that Adonai has wrought. And so do not go outside the entrance of the tent of meeting, lest you die. For Adonai's anointing oil is upon you." And they did as Moses had bidden.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
And finally, for the fourth Aliyah, we invite forward for the first time as bar mitzvah, Ezra Jerome Briskin. Yamod, 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 Habachur bar hamitzvah, Ezra Zahavi, ben Harav Yechiel ve'ora Miriam, Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'yadaber Adonai el Aharon lemor. Yain v'shechar al tish atah uvenecha itach b'lachem Elohel mo'ed v'lo tamitu chukat olam l'dorotechem. V'lehavdil ben hakodesh u'ben hachol u'ben hatameh u'ben hatahor. V'lehoro et b'nei Yisrael et kol hachukim asher diber Adonai Alehem biad Moshe. And Adonai spoke to Aaron, saying, "Drink no wine or other intoxicant, you or your sons, when you enter the tent of meeting, that you may not die. This is a law for all time throughout the ages. For you must distinguish between the sacred and the profane, and between the unclean and the clean. And you must teach the Israelites all the laws which Adonai has imparted to them through Moses." Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Nice job, Yishar Koach.
We invite the congregation, all who are able to please rise as we look in the Torah to see what Ezra just chanted so beautifully.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לבני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
וזאת התורה, וזאת התורה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה, לבני בני ישראל, לבני בני ישראל. וזאת התורה, 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 וזאת התורה.
Just a little bit. Ezra, you come on forward.
All right. I will come up.
We're just going to wait a second while your dad figures out what happened. Sure. You may be seated, please. Golf claps. All right, introduction.
The Haftarah for this Shabbat comes from the book of 2 Samuel, and I will be chanting from chapter 6, verses 6 through 8. The word Haftarah comes from a Hebrew word that means to conclude. A Haftarah is a collection of verses taken from one of the books of the prophets, which you find in the second section of the Hebrew Bible. This section contains the history of the ancient Israelites and the messages of the prophets of Israel, whose words continue to inspire us to this day. The verses of this Haftarah are related in some way to the Torah portion that was just chanted. Sometimes the connection between the Torah and the Haftarah is very clear. Sometimes it is not. These verses share a special message for the week that concludes the reading of the Torah. I will first chant the blessing before the reading of the Haftarah, which you can find on page 372 of the prayer book. Afterwards, you can follow along with me on the Torah translation sheet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah v'divreihem ha'ne'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habacher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nviei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayavo ad goren nachon vayishlach Uzzah el Aron ha'Elohim vayoches bo ki shamtu habakar v'yacharav Adonai ve'Uzzah vayakehu sham ha'Elohim al hashal vayamot sham im Aron ha'Elohim vayichar leDavid asher parat Adonai peretz be'Uzzah vayikra lamakom hahu peretz Uzzah ad hayom hazeh. But when they came to the threshing floor of Nachon, Uzzah reached out for the ark of God and grasped it, for the oxen had stumbled. Adonai was incensed at Uzzah, and God struck him down on the spot for his indiscretion, and he died there beside the ark of God. David was distressed because Adonai had inflicted a breach upon Uzzah, and that place was named Peretz Uzzah, and it is still called. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sor kol ha'olamim, sadik b'chol ha'orot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'mdaber u'mkayem, shechol devarav emet v'tzedek. Hal ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shanatas lanu Adonai Eloheinu l'tishav v'limnicha l'kavod u'l'tifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mevrihim v'otach yiparash shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Today I chanted verses from the Torah portion called Shemini, which comes from Leviticus chapter 9, verse 10 through chapter 10, verse 11. In these verses, Nadav and Avihu, who are the sons of Aaron, offer an alien fire to God that God did not command them to offer. Because they did this, they were consumed by fire sent down from God. There is no stated reason for Nadav and Avihu dying, but we do know that Moses and Aaron had gone into the tent of meeting, and when they came out, God had appeared. Nadav and Avihu thought if they did the same thing, God would return. Instead, they are consumed by fire brought down from God. It must have been terrible for Aaron, Moses, and Nadav and Avihu's brothers to see this happen. We don't know what they were thinking. However, we know that in their response, their father Aaron was silent. Ancient rabbis provide many reasons for why Nadav and Avihu were killed. Rabbi Levi teaches that Nadav and Avihu thought they were too good for others. Rabbi Shmuel ben Meir, known as Rashbam, who lived in 12th century France, believes that the fire they offered was not commanded by God, and it could have been seen as a threat against God in the eyes of God. But the most popular belief is that Nadav and Avihu were trying to be innovative and creative in the way of serving God. Back then, being innovative and creative wasn't allowed, and it led to their deaths. Nowadays, being innovative and creative in the synagogue is celebrated. Two questions I have are, did Nadav and Avihu's punishment fit their misconduct, and why was Aaron silent? To me, Nadav and Avihu's violation didn't seem to warrant being killed by God. Even though there was no court or legal system, God could have given a warning. At least then, Nadav and Avihu could have learned their lesson, but God didn't. In my opinion, God used Nadav and Avihu as examples of what happened to people back then who disobeyed God. Even so, I still believe the punishment was unjust. The reasons for their deaths is one of the biggest questions in the Torah, as there is very little evidence to why Nadav and Avihu were killed. All the text says is that they offered Eish Zarah, alien fire that God had not commanded. Out of all the different rabbis' points, the most likely explanation for the deaths of Nadav and Avihu comes from an 11th century rabbi from France, named Rashi. He believes that it was not the action of offering sacrifice to God, it's how they did it. Remember, Nadav and Avihu were trying to copy Moses and Aaron. Nadav and Avihu decided what to offer, how to offer, and when to offer the sacrifice. Because they called all the shots instead of listening to God, they were killed. The other question I have is about Aaron's silence. He just witnessed two of his sons die at the hands of God, and he was silent. Although I am not an ancient rabbi, I'd like to point something out. The Torah says Aaron was silent, not speechless. Just because he didn't speak doesn't mean he didn't feel the impact of watching his two sons die in front of him. But why didn't he say something? Was Aaron's silence out of fear to speak up? Was that a complete devastation or shock? Or could Aaron know that questioning God's authority could result in his death as well? Remember, Aaron had already rebelled against God once before when he made the golden calf at the foot of Mount Sinai. Everyone who worshipped it was killed, except for Aaron. Questioning God now could result in his death as well. The interesting part is that this theme of silence in times of tragedy occurs more in modern-day life than in the Torah. A well-known Jewish teacher named Blue Greenberg wrote a story about her son JJ, who died in a bike accident in Israel. She describes JJ as a guy who loved sports, Judaism, and Israel. When she learned of JJ's death, she, like Aaron, was silent. She was in a state of shock and was at a loss for words. Even though the circumstances of JJ's death were very different than Nadav and Avihu's deaths, they share one common theme: the silence of a parent after witnessing or learning that their child had died. There are two important lessons I had learned from this portion. The first has to do with being innovative and creative in prayer. To me, creativity and innovation are good. At Camp Newman on Shabbat, all the campers and counselors pray outside in shirts and polo shirts. I don't think this is how God had planned modern-day Jews to pray, so this is innovation and creativity. At Camp Newman, we have had to feel it in front of a campfire, playing basketball, or even in a drum circle. In all three of these instances, I was praying, just not in the synagogue. And most importantly, God didn't stop me for doing this. The second lesson has to do with helping a person deal with grief. Something I learned from Blue Greenberg is that sometimes to not say anything at all is the best thing to do for someone who is grieving. But what can you do? Sometimes all it takes is a pat on the shoulder or a hug, and without saying any words, the person feels better. This portion deals with a very tragic event, and even though it seems very outdated, there are lessons to be learned from it. Dealing with the bereaved and being innovative and creative are just two. Please join me in Shehecheyanu.
Wow, don't mind if I do. Come on up.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Thank you.
Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Friends, we open to page 374, and we rise as a community.
יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו, הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו. הללויה, הללויה.
Don't take my words. So Ezra, we said that in preparing for today, there were some times that I was going to be dad, and there were some times that I was going to be rabbi. And you very much said that you wanted me to offer the traditional rabbi's blessing to the bar bat mitzvah here. And really, it is such a great honor and privilege for me to be able to do this. So Ezra, you taught us some amazing lessons today through your Devar Torah. One is this theme of silence. And for you, Ezra Briskin, to focus on a theme of silence is remarkable, because you always have a lot to say, a lot of really good things to say, a lot of really interesting things to say. And even if sometimes I may not be interested in the latest ESPN sports update, sometimes I am. So Ezra, one of the things about Rabbi, this is not an exchange right now, okay? Vayido home Ezra, and Ezra was silent. But Ezra, as you taught us, we really hope that you learn to use your words for good, which you do, but also learn and know when it's appropriate just to be silent in the face of whatever is there. But I know as well that you will always raise your voice when you need to, whether it's for a cause that you really believe in, some injustice that you see, something that really bothers you, you will raise your voice. Another lesson you taught us, Ezra, was about Nadav and Avihu, and the reason why they got zapped. And I liked what you said in your Torah portion. You said that up at Camp Newman, when maybe you pray around a bonfire or on the basketball court or whatever, thank God that God isn't coming down and zapping you for offering this sort of alien worship. And what I hope, Ezra, is that you find joy and blessing and innovation and creativity in all elements of Jewish life, where you can really bring who you are as you explore and find Judaism on your own in the years ahead. Because as Mom and I said before, we want your Judaism to be yours and what you want for yourself, not what you think we want for you. Ezra, this community has been part of your life for the last 12 years. We came here when you were just over a year old. And so many people here have literally watched you grow up in front of their eyes. And yes, while you got taller than Mom before bar mitzvah, not quite me yet. So give it another year or two. But I know, Ezra, that as we continue to watch you grow into the fine young man that you are, and that you continue to become, that you will continue to be a blessing for Mom and me and for Avi, for your grandparents, your family, for your friends, for your Bethel community, for your Camp Newman community that you love so much, for all these communities as you bring all of you to everything that we do. Last thing I want to say is that, on two of the Arba Kanfot of Yitalit, it says Ezra Zahavi. We talked about the name Ezra, but Zahavi is important as well. Zahavi means gold and golden, and we want to give you that name to connect to the Goldberg family. which is obviously just as important as the Ezra and our family as well. And we know that with this Goldberg family, there will always be a golden child in front of us who lights up our lives, who brings his precious blessings to us in all that he does. Yes, so I'm going to stop talking now, okay? And I'm going to bless you. And you know what, Ezra? When you become a rabbi, you can do this too to your grandson. Like Walt. So Ezra, I share with you these words, which I've shared before, words that come right from our Torah. Let me see if I can remember them. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Ken Yireh Ratzon.
May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
Ken Yireh Ratzon.
May God's face shine brightly upon you, be very good to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yisem lecha shalom.
Ken Yireh Ratzon.
And may God reach out to you the gifts of love, and kindness, and joy, and all good things, and above all, the gift of peace. Amen.
Amen.
Chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom ashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Keketen.
Okay, good, thanks.
Please be seated, everyone.
And Ezra Briskin is rounding third. No, sit, you're fine, you're good. So Ezra, what a wonderful journey this has been. And some might say what a long, strange trip it's been, but what a wonderful journey this has been to watch you grow and guide your learning and to be your cantor and be able to help guide that learning. I know that you and Jordan have oftentimes commiserated a little bit about what it was to be the rabbis and cantors' kids and what's expected of you. And I have to say, honestly, I was a little bit worried about how that would impact you. But I should have known better. I should have known better because I know you. Because I know that you are your own person. And that you would guide this journey in exactly the path and the line that you wanted it to be. And this day truly is beautiful because of the way that you have taught us, because of the way that you have learned, because of the poise and stature with which you have led us. And so I wish you mazal tov for that. I have to admit, it was hard to think of a song for you because I wanted something really special and wonderful, and I was really racking my brains for weeks. And then I heard your Devar Torah, and I should know better because every time I listen to a kid's Devar Torah, the song just reveals itself to me. And you talked about Nadav and Avihu and the way that they brought this strange fire, this creative fire as you interpreted it, and I loved that interpretation. I pray for you, Ezra, that you will always bring a little bit of a strange fire with you to all that you do. But that you will have learned from Nadav and Avihu that you must do it within the respect for our tradition that is necessary and that is called for. And so as I was listening to that Devar Torah, I thought of a song that is composed outside of our tradition, but for our tradition. And one of my wonderful colleagues, Kazan Ozzy Schwartz in New York, has made it part of his mission to bring Jewish composers that have never written for the synagogue and have them write Jewish music. And so I offer you this beautiful Misha Berach, written by this amazing Broadway composer, Zena Goldrich. And may it always be a guiding light in your life, that you always know that God is there, guiding you and providing you with the peace that you provide for all of us. God of our people and all who came before, may your love and guidance open every door. God of our people, whose strength will never cease. May your love and guidance be his path for peace. Ledor vador, there comes an ancient yearning. Ledor vador, no history can tame. And here and now, we feel the seasons turning, as this brand new spark is added to the world's eternal flame. Misheberach Avotenu. Please bless his journey and all the joy he brings. Misheberach Imotenu. May your love and guidance fill his song he sings. Ledor vador, and in a distant future someday. Ledor vador, may another chorus rise. Ledor vador, and in that distant future someday, may you see the light of knowledge in your son or daughter's eyes. Misheberach Avotenu. God of our people, one thing we're certain of, from the seeds of faith and learning grows a family never ending in its love. Grows a family never ending in its love. Mazal tov.
Cantor, that was beautiful. I thought that you were about to introduce a song that was very close to Ezra's heart and to all the hearts of people who love the Boston Red Sox. I thought you were going to sing Sweet Caroline.
Bum, bum. Okay, sorry.
This is the point, if we were at Temple Akiba, that we would take the bar mitzvah kid and step on him. But that's not what we do here, right?
I really like that.
Right? It's our honor now to invite forward, representing the congregation, the immediate past president of the sisterhood, Elie Zamos, followed by the president of the congregation, Mark Kaiser. And following Mark, we're going to invite forward the youth leader of Speedy, the youth group here, San Pedro Temple Youth, Sophia Perry.
Ezra. You did a wonderful job this morning. It was a wonderful service. You should be proud of yourself. Your temple family is very proud of you. And we have watched you grow from just a little baby into the fine young man you are today. You've participated in temple activities, and when Sisterhood has needed youth groups, you've been there helping serve tables and clean up. And that was a big help to us. But I know, too, you're a busy person outside of temple, and you love sports. You play both baseball and soccer. And I found out that you enjoy music very much and play drums and have gotten pretty good on the drums. I think it might be fun if some Friday night when we have musical Shabbat, if the Moody Jews let you sit in on drums. You think you'd like that?
I like that, yeah.
I think that would be very cool. So now, Ezra, it is my honor to present to you this Kiddush cup on behalf of Temple Bethel Sisterhood, with our very best wishes for many more blessings.
Hello. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sophia Perry, and I want to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You've done it. It's
I
done.
have, yeah. So,
And I am a representative from Speedy, our youth group. And in front of me today, I have Ezra's charm. As Speedy, we're part of the North American Federation of Temple Youth, and we hold regional events at the Southern California region. And everyone gets a necklace and a bead at each event they go to. So many people elect to add a charm to their necklace to show that they are part of their congregation. So Ezra has chosen an anchor charm to represent the congregation at SoCal events. And I believe you've already been to events, so you'll already have a necklace and beads. But we hope you will add this charm to show your representation.
thank you.
Shabbat Shalom. And you have done a spectacular job, as I think we all knew that you would. Ezra, I won't repeat all the talk of how we've known you since you were like a little peanut. Now you're kind of a big peanut. But I have to say that the Israel trip that your mom talked about a year and a half ago, I have to share a little bit of that. This was a trip made up almost exclusively of adults, except for Ezra and Avi Briskin. And as you might expect on a trip like this, the tour guides are regularly, asking for questions to keep the conversation going. Well, who do you think always came up with the first question? And the second, and the third. And even more, who do you think answered all of their questions? So, Ezra, we are so proud of you, and on behalf of the congregation, we are just incredibly proud of all that you've accomplished. Congratulations. I have a few gifts.
Look. Here, I can take this.
Okay. First, I want to show the congregation your certificate for today, very special day. A beautiful certificate actually designed by one of our teen artists and very suitable for framing. Also, from the North American Federation of Temple Youth, a gift certificate to be used on your next trip to Israel or a future trip. a gift certificate of $200 in honor of your bar mitzvah. A book that honors the question that you ask about the Messiah, but there are many more questions here that I'm sure you probably can answer already. Tough Questions Jews Ask, it's called, written by Rabbi Ed Feinstein. And this is given to you by your father, Rabbi Briskin.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome, Ezra.
Another book written by Mitchell Bard, and this is to accompany your trip to Israel. It's a book called Israel Matters, and it's a gift from the Los Angeles Federation, the Jewish Federation. And last, from the temple, your own copy of the High Holidays Machzor, the new Machzor that we'll be starting to use this year called Mishkan HaNefesh. So congratulations, and use it in good health. Mazel tov.
Thank you. I would like to thank the Sisterhood for the Kiddush Cup. I look forward to using it on Shabbat in my home. I'd also like to thank the Board of Directors for their gifts and support through the years. I intend on using the gift certificate for Israel very well. I'd also like to thank them for helping to greet and usher today and helping to provide our Kiddush luncheon. I would like to thank Speedy for the bead to add to my collection, and many thanks to Nifty and to the Los Angeles Jewish Federation for their gifts. There are many people to thank for supporting me through the way, including my Torah school teachers and my teachers from Rancho Vista. I'd like to thank Debbie Rowe, Cantor Davidson, and Rabbi Briskin for all their help and support. I'd also like to thank my dad for all of his encouragement and some nagging along the way, and my mom for all of her support, and all of you for staying out of my way. A special thanks to Grandma and Grandpa, Mimi and Papa for their support in many different ways. I'm extremely thankful to Rabbi Zach for coming down and helping lead the service today so the rabbi could be dad and not rabbi today. I'd also like to thank all of my extended family who are here today. It's nice to meet some of you for the first time. And to my friends for being there for me, and to the Temple Bethel community for supporting me.
Here comes Santa this side. Not too far away. Do you have some announcements? Yeah, okay.
I get to share announcements. So again, Ezra, Mazel Tov again. Beautiful, beautiful. We're so proud of you. Just a couple of instructions for when we conclude our service, which will be in just a few moments. At the very end of our service, it's our custom to invite our Torah school, all of the Torah school students from the Temple Bethel Torah School, to come up and help lead Kiddush and Motzi. However, I'm going to take a little bit of rabbinic privilege and add some very special friends and colleagues who are here today to join us as well. I feel very blessed. We feel very blessed to have some of my fellow classmates from Hebrew Union College and other clergy who are here. So if you are, so for Rabbi Ryan Bauer, Rabbi Andy Berlin, Amy Bryman, Rabbi Jonathan Kupetz, Lisa Langer, David Lewis, Rabbi Leah Lewis, special shout out, Rabbi Leah Lewis will become the new rabbi at Temple Menorah right down the street. We're so thrilled to have you and David in our community, along with fellow HUC graduates Debbie Rowe and Michelle Shehan. Also, I'm not sure if Rabbi Schuldenfrei has made it yet, and if Reverend Anna Woofenden is here as well. At the end of services, I'll invite you to come up to the Bema, but it really is a great blessing to have you here. Also, a very special welcome. It's great to have you here, Estelle. Thank you for coming in and being with us. And a special welcome to Barbara Siegel and Bob Dworkin, who made it in from Las Vegas to be with us today. It's so great to welcome you back. So you might be wondering, how are we going to feed 400 or so people? We're wondering that too. So you will all help us. So what we're going to do after Kiddush and Motzi, what we're going to ask those of you who are sitting in the sanctuary, because we actually have to turn that room over. We're going to ask those in the sanctuary, thank you, those in the social hall to immediately make your way out to the courtyard, to the Taus room, or upstairs to the Beit Midrash. All the food is the same no matter where you go. There's nothing different. We're not like hiding the really good stuff someplace else, okay? all right? Not even wine or scotch, okay? Everything is the same, all right? So those who are in the social hall, please make your way as quickly as possible, get your food, and please enjoy those rooms, the Taus room, courtyard, or Beit Midrash. Also, those of you who are sitting in those so comfortable folding black chairs over on the sides there, we need you to help schlep a little bit, and if you could take your chair with you and put it around the table in the Taus room, put them wherever there are, Karen says in the Taus room and the courtyard. Please take your chairs out there. That will just help our Beacon House crew turn over the social hall. I'm just so grateful to all of you who have helped to make today possible, Rabbi Shapiro, Cantor Davidson, President Mark Kaiser, the entire Temple Bethel board, and all the leadership who is making for a sort of high holidays type of day happen today. Special kudos to Kara Hernandez, our Temple administrator, and Adam and the Beacon House crew who are working overtime, double time, triple time to deal with everything going on today. We are so, so very grateful. I think that is... Anything else? Karen, anything else? Did I miss anything? Ezra, did I miss anything? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, also for Kiddush and Motzi, also Torah School friends and any of Ezra's Camp Newman friends who are here today, come on up as well. We begin to conclude. Am I doing this or are you doing it? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. We got it. Our concluding prayers begin on page 586 with Aleinu. Please stand if you are able.
לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר ראשית, שלא עשה גילויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
On page 595, toward the very bottom of the page, there are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We now remember friends and family who have guided us with life and light and goodness. We remember specifically great-grandma Shirley Pollock, Uncle Jerry Kahn, for whom Ezra was named, and Uncle Irv Kahn. If there's anyone else in the community who is remembering someone special, as my eyes gaze the congregation and meet yours, if there are people that you know, please say those names out loud so we can say Kaddish together. May all their names guide us toward blessing. On page 598, we read together. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. ויאמר דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה בריחו. לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and all Israel, to which we say,
Amen. Friends, as we close with those says shalom, if you need the books, hold them. If you don't, hold each other. Reach out and find someone and make a connection.
All right, nice job.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Shabbat shalom. Hey, get over here.
School, HSC classmates, come on up.
You're so welcome, dude. Mazel tov. So proud of you. You did an awesome job, buddy. Ah, mwah.
Thank you, thank you.
Come on.
Hey, dude. How's it going? Yeah, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, bum, 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 bum. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו ספרי לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ. שבת שלום ומזל טוב.